We have yet another massive update on MJF, which is going to lead me to a very big question I'm going to ask you guys later on in the video. Not going to want to miss that. It's a really important question, and I think it has a lot to do with how we judge WWE. Also, Cody Rhodes injury, what we know, and have my opinions changed? Talk about that. Also, WWE Money in the Bank, they are de-unifying the World Championship. What does that mean for the Tag Team Championship? And what does this mean for new plans now that Cody is injured? First, we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. Just very simply, for those who don't know, Cody Rhodes is expected to get surgery this upcoming Thursday. Thanks to Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful Select for that bit of news. Obviously, there's a lot of talk on social media right now about Cody Rhodes and what exactly we should expect. Because obviously with Cody Rhodes, he wrestled injured. Now, my opinion hasn't changed. I still believe that WWE was foolish for letting Cody Rhodes wrestle. I'm not a doctor. At the end of the day, I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor. I just think it's foolish to let any wrestler who's hurt wrestle hurt. Nonetheless, Cody Rhodes cut a promo saying it was his choice. He'll explain a little bit on Raw as well. Plus, there is this timetable. Now people believe that Cody Rhodes will be out for up to 6 months. Other wrestlers have had the same injury and been out a lot less, which leads me to my big point. Maybe Cody's injury is not as bad as a lot of people actually think. I don't know, because again, I'm not a doctor. But he looked like he was in pain. And whether it was WWE, AEW, Impact, if you let your people wrestle hurt, I just think that's silly. Nonetheless, Cody is in a very, very interesting spot because he is a top babyface. I also believe WWE is going to try to treat Cody Rhodes like Super Cena. If it's 6 months, he'll come back in 5 days. Obviously an exaggeration, but you get my point. The match was absolutely wonderful. It's an all-time classic. I think everybody knows that Cody and Seth is going to be a match that people will talk about forever because of the circumstances. And as many times as I cringed in the beginning watching it and stuff, my hat goes off to Seth and Cody because they were absolutely incredible. Doesn't mean I vouch for it one bit, but hey, they turned something absolutely terrible and they had a great match. But now this kind of leads to Money in the Bank. And obviously Money in the Bank this year is a very, 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 very big topic because it's no longer in a stadium. Now it's back at like the typical arena, intimate arena. Obviously Cody Rhodes was a big part of Hell in a Cell, was expected to be a big part of Money in the Bank. Now we don't know what exactly will happen with Cody Rhodes after he gets surgery. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because with Cody Rhodes right now at this very moment, he obviously isn't expected to be at Money in the Bank, and he was expected before. Now, the reason why this matters is because Roman Reigns was not expected to be at Money in the Bank. Now, Roman Reigns is expected to be at Money in the Bank. In fact, there is this belief that Money in the Bank is going to see 2 major changes this year. So, it's going to impact WWE quite a bit. One, Roman Reigns will probably be wrestling. My guess, I don't know, I'm just taking a hunch here, but my guess is it's probably going to be Bobby Lashley. I spoke about this live on Twitch. Obviously, he was signaling for the belt. Very, very clear that was an audible by WWE once they saw what happened with Cody. I also think that's a good idea because you could build the Bloodline versus the Hurt Business if they decide to reunite. Again, I talked about that on Twitch. Secondly, that means if we get Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns, that means Roman Reigns is defending the belt on TV. Totally cool. I'm with it. Number 2, though, Money in the Bank has a stipulation where you can only cash in for 1 world championship. So it appears that WWE is going to, we don't know for sure, but they could very well de-unify the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, Universal World Heavyweight Championship. So if WWE, which I think because they haven't revealed one big belt, if they are going to de-unify the belts, this is going to be their way of doing so. Now that poses this big question, who is going to be the one to do so? Randy Orton is out. Cody Rhodes is out. I mean, there's a lot of talent out. Brock Lesnar is always a safe bet because Brock Lesnar is only there a couple times a year. But how many times are we going to get Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns? We're tired of it. We don't want WWE to do this. That could very well be the case. I know this sounds a little bit crazy. I think John Cena versus Theory is going to take place at SummerSlam. What I would do is have Theory win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I would actually have him win Money in the Bank briefcase. And then I would build a long-term storyline with him having the Money in the Bank briefcase. I would actually have Theory win the briefcase and even lose the briefcase to somebody else who would then successfully cash in on Roman Reigns for one of the world titles. Not both, but one of them. The idea would be for Theory to have this Money in the Bank briefcase. Hey, I would not even be against this. Let's just throw this out there off the top of my head. Theory wins the briefcase, has the U.S. Championship and Money in the Bank briefcase. I would actually have him defend it against John Cena at SummerSlam. John Cena beats Theory and gets the briefcase. Now you have John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Well, John Cena, cashes in on Roman Reigns. John Cena cashes in one time, wins the WWE Championship. That's the new record. Then when Cody Rhodes returns, we get Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. And then we get Roman Reigns versus The Rock, WrestleMania 39. That's what I would do. Very simple solution. But that's if WWE does choose to de-unify the belts. Guys, now I want to turn our attention to the big topic with MJF. Obviously, everybody is enjoying this, and I know a lot of people are they're eager to see the big payoff here. But it leads me to a big question. So first, here's the update. Warner Brothers Discovery is removing MJF from promotional spots and commercials. Okay? So first and foremost, PW Insider reported today that a source at Warner Bros. Discovery confirmed there was a notice that was issued, and basically MJF has to be removed from commercials and promotional spots from the company. The word is that he is currently being edited out of any TBS and TNT spots where he appears, and different footage is being used in its place. It was noted that as they make this transition, he may still pop up in some of the newer commercials for the time being. Now, this leads me to the big question. They have removed him from the roster, from the website, from now he's being removed by Warner Brothers Discovery, all this stuff. Is this a good work if everybody knows it's a work? And I ask this question genuinely because I've seen a lot of people, whether it's to defend WWE or to just take digs at AEW, they say, well, it's not really a good work if everybody knows it's a work. The problem is a work in 2022 is a lot more challenging than a work in the 80s and 90s because of social media and how instantaneous information and speculation runs wild on Twitter. And I think a lot of people are expecting me to shit on AEW here, but truth be told, if this is 1,000% a work, which it very well could be at this point, I think they're turning it into a work, right? Maybe it didn't start out that way, but if they're trying to work people here, whatever it may be, like, we have become such a smart audience. Wrestling, social media, dirt sheets, all of these different things have evolved so much in 2022. I'm not sure if it could be considered a work if people are guessing it's such a weird freaking conversation to have. But I don't think it derails how good of a work is just because we use social media to figure it out. You know what I mean? I think the rules have kind of changed. Maybe this is the wrong answer. Maybe this is not going to please people. But that's my answer to this question. I see a lot of people are saying, well, it's not a good work if everybody knows it's a work. Well, they didn't have Twitter in the 70s, bro. They didn't have Twitter and YouTube in the 80s. They didn't have Instagram at those times. So, like, it's a lot more different. I think social media and the way it works right now is what makes it so interesting. And, of course, it's become a big conversation. But, hey, this is to me, if Warner Bros. And AEW are working together on this, good for them, man. Good job. You got your TV executives involved. I think that's freaking sick. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.